Hey there, Algebra 1. We are going to continue here in Chapter 8, working with polynomials. We're going to give you a fancy multiplying binomials, right? That's 2 by 2. We're going to FOIL those. It's really just the distributive property. So take a couple minutes, pause your video, and work on these warm-ups, right? We're working on remembering what things go together. And number 3, right, we have some like terms. We're just going to subtract them. So we're going to start to mix all these things together until we build up to that. Okay, so real small on your page, you're going to find the answers. Just double check you got them, and then play the video back. All right, welcome back. We are going to start to multiply binomials. All right, that's going to be our focus with this lesson. We're going to use the word FOIL to help us out. All right, I believe they call that an acronym over in English class. Okay, so what that means is we want the first, the outside, the inside, and the last. Okay, and what that means is if I just said A, B, C, D, right? First literally means the first things. Okay. The outside is literal. This is all literal. I want to multiply the two things on the outside. The inside are the two things on the inside, and the last, those are the things that are last. Okay, so it's going to be extremely literal, and all of that is multiplying those terms. So we're just going to keep an eye on what those signs are and what happens. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So first things first. Okay, so I want the first, so 2x times 3x. Well, that's 6x squared. So we're going to have to keep in mind that now that I'm multiplying, I want to add those exponents. The outside, 2x times 5 is 10 with an x. On the inside, let me find a blue. Here's a blue. 3 times 3 is 9, and it has an x. And the last, so we're going to go with yellow on that one. I don't have that. That's a beautiful color, though. All right, 3 times 5 is 15. And then after that, I want to see if I have like terms. And what happens here is I have like terms in the middle. So 6x squared plus 19x plus 15 is the result when I multiply these two binomials. All right, easy enough. So we're going to do that over and over. I'm going to give you a couple different organizational ways to see that. Okay, so when do I do this? This is called the FOIL method. And when do I use it? When I have two, what? When it has two terms, right? That's a binomial. All right, it's an acronym. Yeah, I was pretty sure that's what it was. All right, so here's how it works. Remember, first times the first. So that's y squared. Then we got the outside. So plus 7y, because they're both positive. On the inside, I got 3y. And then on the end, I got plus 21. So I have some like terms in the middle. So y squared plus 10y plus 21. All right, not too bad. Hey, other people like this. They think this kind of looks like a smiley face. All right, smiley face. You got a nose right here and some eyebrows. Maybe they're doing one of those eyebrow faces. All right, so whichever way you want to work through there. Okay. So that's kind of working horizontally. Some students, they're like, you know what? I get the idea. They write FOIL down their paper. Again, if you're good with what we've done, don't do anything different. All right, so I got 6x squared. And look at the outside. I got 21x. I got the inside. I got minus 10x. And on the end, I have minus 35. So then we go with these. So I have 6x squared. I'm going to end up with 11x, right? 21 minus 10, and then minus 35. So if you like kind of a sequence that's vertical, a couple kids like it. I don't know why, every year. So I try and show all those things, but for the most part, everyone's going to go like this. They're going to go 2x squared. They're going to go plus 5x. A couple kids will go plus 8x, and then they'll go plus 20, kind of using that column method. Since they're going to be like terms in this case, we line them up. Okay, so that is the result when we multiply these two binomials. And I'd like to say that, you know, there's some other tricky things, but there aren't. Okay, so if that's the entire process, at this point, I can up the ante just a little bit here. Notice what I have is an x squared on here. So 2 times 3 is 6. X squared times another x is x cubed. Right? Then I'll take a look at the outside. Well, 2x squared times 1 is just 2x squared. And on the inside, I got minus 9x. That's why I didn't stack these up, because I knew it was going to be x to the first power. And then I have minus 3. So if I get something that looks a little bit different, this is kind of nice because I don't have any like terms, which means it's done. All right, next one we got x times x is x squared. I got plus 4 times x and plus 2 times x. And then finally, 2 times 4, that's 8. All right, but I do have like terms in this one. So that's going to add up to 6x. Remember, we're adding. So if I have 4 x's and 2 more x's, then I'm going to get 6 of them. They're not going to turn into anything different. This one looks interesting. See, I have the same thing, one's plus and one's minus. So let's see what happens. A times a squared. We got minus a and plus a, and then minus 1. Well, negative a plus a, they cancel out. So this would be a squared minus 1. Okay, so this would be a special case, especially as we work backwards through this later in this chapter. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so a difference of squares eventually. All right, last one, a lot of negative signs, so just have to be careful. And we'll find out a lot of things in math are going to be more tedious than they are difficult once you have the idea. So 5 times 6 is 30. A times a is a squared. Outside, minus 5a. On the inside, minus 12a. And on the end, negative times a negative is positive, so 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, 30a squared minus, they're both negative, so 17a plus 2. Very Canadian problem, a. There we go, a. Why don't I keep saying a? All right. So we're going to combine what we're doing now, what we did the last section, and what we did to start this chapter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the FOIL method because I want to find the area of the pink region. Okay, so that's everything in here. So what I can do is I can multiply these two together, right? I'm going to FOIL those, but what I have to do is then get rid of the green box. What's that mean in math class to get rid of? That means we're going to subtract it. So then I'd have to also multiply these to find out what to subtract. So let's start first with the entire pink rectangle. So 2x plus 5, 3x plus 1. All right, so what do we got? We got 6x squared. I got plus 2x plus 15x. And on the end, I got plus 5. 6x squared plus 17x plus 5. Well, I still have to multiply x times x plus 2 and find out what the green box is. That's x squared plus 2x. Well, that's what I want to take away. X squared plus 2x. All right, so when we did this before, we said, all right, let's take this negative and distribute it in, and then we can make it an addition. So I don't have to worry about those signs as much. So 6x squared minus 1x squared is 5x squared. 17 minus 2 is 15x and plus 5. So that's the area of the pink region because we took away that green box. So that's where we're going to start to use some of these. They seem like random, weird applications, but it's just to the beginning. Right? We're in Algebra 1, so this is kind of the infancy of all the grand ideas that we want to work with. Okay, so same idea here. We want 5x plus 8. We're going to multiply by 6x plus 2. And eventually we're going to take away, so minus 5x times x plus 6, right? So if you want to have this as like a horizontal problem, we could do it that way. Usually we don't like that. We want to stack them up and get some like terms. So let's take a look at it. Let's get everything FOILed here first. So 30x squared. On the outside, I see 10x. On the inside, I got plus 48x. On the end, I got 16. I get some like terms. 30x squared plus 58x plus 16. Over here, I'm going to subtract eventually 5x squared plus 30x. Right? We have to distribute this negative. So as I put it in here, I'm going to make it 5x squared minus 30x. And then everything's in really good shape to add them together. So final answer is going to be 25x squared. We're going to take 30 of those away, so plus 28x and plus 16 becomes our final answer. All right, B gets a little bit different because we gave you squares, right? So if this side is x plus 8, this is x plus 8. And if this side is x, then this side is x. So here we go, x plus 8 times x plus 8. So we get x squared in the first. Outside is 8x. On the inside, I'm going to get 8x. And 8 times 8 is 64. So x squared plus 16x plus 64. And x times x is just going to be x squared. And that's what I have to take away. So we'll just get rid of that. So 16x plus 64 after our subtraction is the area of the white square minus the orange square. All right, so we got a couple just to make sure we got the idea here. And notice in the second one, we're going to throw in some variables. So I'm going to skip over the first one. Right, it should be y squared plus y minus 12. Give that a try. And the next one, we added in b's. So let's see what happens when we do this. So 2a times 2a is 4a squared. 2 times 4, that's positive 8. A times b, it's not a trick, just ab. So I know the next one is negative 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and I still have a times b. Right? If you have b times a, it's the same thing, right? Commutative property, we can move those around. So notice I have these like terms in the middle, but let's finish the problem out. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. B times b is b squared. So we can put more variables in here, but the process of FOIL is still the same thing, and it's really just a fancy distributive property. So 8 minus 6 is 2 of those ABs. Almost wrote plus. I did write plus. I got to erase it. Minus 12b squared gives us our final answer. All right, so if you're good with what we're doing, you can get started with some homework. If you got questions or that's all the time you can give this today because you're working on some other stuff, then that's what you have to get done. If you're not in my class, then I hope you got something good out of it. Peace.